Hello, interwebs. I'm Incognito, and welcome to Budget Bites, a month-long series dedicated to Hunger Action Month. Now, Hunger Action Month, for those who don't know, is a national campaign held every September by Feeding America to raise awareness and inspire action against hunger in America. In honor of hunger in America, my sister and I decided that this month we would attempt to spend less than half of our typical grocery budget and try to survive off of no more than $150 for the entirety of September and donate what we save to Feeding America. Day one, if you haven't guessed already, is a simple spaghetti and garlic bread recipe. I apologize in advance for the formatting of my video. I'm really new to this, and I've never done anything like it before. And I'm still kind of testing the waters and finding my footing. I'm hoping within the next few days my videos will look a little less strange, but, I make no promises. I'm making a simple garlic butter from scratch because it's super easy and it's cheaper than the pre-made stuff, and personally I think it tastes better. I'm using fresh garlic for the same reason. You can use the canned, jarred, pre-minced stuff. It's fine. I've used it before. I prefer the fresh garlic, and it's cheaper where I live to buy the bulbs and chop it yourself. It's just more inconvenient. Garlic butter is an easy recipe. It's 2 cloves of garlic and 4 tablespoons of butter. If you're watching this, you may realize I only used 2 tablespoons of butter. That's because I'm a dumbass, and I fixed that later. But I also added some salt, thyme, and oregano, which you don't have to do, but I had it in my pantry, and I figured why not. This is where I realized I didn't have enough butter, and I had to add more. So that was a lot of fun. I put my butter in the microwave for like 10 to 15 seconds, just until it was melted, and I mixed it up until it was well incorporated, and then I threw it in the fridge to solidify while I made my spaghetti. Now, this is not a fancy recipe by any means. I'm using a pound of just regular ground beef. I actually bought a 5-pound roll at Walmart and divided it for future meals. I've found it's cheaper that way than buying the individual pounds whenever you need them. It takes more time, but I think it's worth it in the end. I cooked my meat on a medium-high heat until it browned, and while that was going, I went ahead and threw a pot of water and salt on the stove to boil. I didn't think to film myself adding the salt, so you're just gonna have to take my word for it. I don't know what to tell you. And while that was going, I went ahead and preheated my oven to 350 for my garlic bread. I gotta be honest, I accidentally deleted the footage of me putting my pasta into the water, and I wasn't tech savvy enough to figure out how to get it back, so here's footage of me stirring the pasta. Once the pasta was fully cooked, I drained most of the water out of it, minus like 1/4 of a cup to add to my sauce later. It probably would have been easier to use a strainer than a fork, but I don't have one of those. Oh, and this was me filming myself opening a can of pasta sauce for no discernible reason. But while I have the time, I figured I would share a fact from Feeding America's webpage. Did you know that 13 million children face food insecurity every year? That is 1 in 5 children. Yeah, go ahead and sit with that number for a minute. 1 in 5. Anyway, once my meat was fully cooked, I added my sauce and the pasta water that I saved from earlier. I like to swirl it around in the can before I pour it in. Not only does it get out the remnants of the sauce, but I feel like it's less likely to attract bugs once you throw the can away. Maybe that's just me. I also added some salt and pepper and some Italian seasoning that I had in my cabinet. Again, it's not a necessary step, but I feel like it enhances the flavor if you've already got it in your cabinet. Once everything was all mixed up, I added my noodles to the meat sauce and gave it a quick little stir to make sure it was all coated, and I just left it on a low heat to warm while I made my garlic bread. By this point, my garlic butter had been in the fridge for roughly 15 minutes. It doesn't really take long to become a nice spreadable consistency. I'm using a bag of French bread that I got from Walmart for like $1.42. Would it have been cheaper to make bread from scratch? Probably, but bread is one of those things that's always been kind of hit or miss for me, and I didn't want to mess up the recipe and risk wasting the ingredients, especially when the whole point of this is to be saving money and not wasting food, you know? And besides that, let's be honest, nothing I made was going to be as good as the store-bought stuff. I'm just not that good of a bread maker. I can bake cupcakes any day. I threw my bread in the oven for, I don't know, somewhere between like 8 and 10 minutes. I just kind of eyeball it. Once the edges are brown, it's done, and that's pretty much it. I know this isn't like the fanciest of meals, but it's cheap and it's filling, and it allows us to save money to donate to Feeding America at the end of the month. If you are able and would like to donate, I am leaving a link in the description to Feeding America. My goal is to raise $500 by the 30th, and every little bit helps. If you can't, I totally understand. Times are tough for everybody. All I ask is that you maybe take the time to like and share the video so others have the opportunity to give. Yeah, thanks.